Are you ready to go deep? Welcome to the Whole Being Zone. Discussions on the day-to-day ways we strive to play big and be whole. Welcome to the Whole Being Zone. This is Wendy Reese, and this is episode 112. This was originally an article written for the Elephant Journal. It's been modified slightly, and it's all about breaking through the excuses. And if you find you're having a hard time with this, I have a 30-minute free session called Off the Mat. It helps you clarify your vision of a life with less stress and more bliss, identify your unique milestone objectives, uncover the hidden challenges and blind spots that may be keeping you stuck, create a 3-step long-term and shorter-term action plan, and you will leave the session renewed, motivated, inspired about your life. If you're interested, go to wholebeinginc.com/discover to find out more and to sign up for your session. Without further ado, let's get going. Shortly after discovering a friend had committed suicide, I stumbled through an illusion that I'd been playing in for many years. It was a horrific discovery that brought with it loads of guilt and shame, like an unwelcome house guest in too small of a house. I am an addict. This was an addiction like nothing I'd heard of before. I knew plenty about substance abuse, sexual addiction, food addictions, even internet addictions. To the best of my knowledge, I'd never heard of this addiction before. I was addicted to excuses. I hid behind them and I took them as fact in my mind. I lived my life around them. And I was so adept at my addiction that I could create them and manipulate them so that it looked like it was happening to me and not by me. I know exactly when this illusion began. I was 4 years old, and I made a promise to my grandmother. In order to keep this promise, I had to shut a part of myself off completely. I had to play small. I had to dim my light, because if I showed up fully, it shined a light onto the people around me who were not ready to be seen in such a light. And it put them in a position that they reacted in not so positive ways. And so I felt like every time I did that, I was at risk of being abandoned, unaccepted, or unloved. And to me, that wasn't safe. So in my 5-year-old mind, I got it into my little brain that I needed to dim my light a little bit more. The people that I relied on to take care of me, the people that I sought love and acceptance from, weren't fully able to shine their own light. As I dimmed my light, hiding my most brilliant self, I recognized the confusion, the discomfort, and the pain that went along with it in me. It felt like a constant friction that was always there. Show up, be your best, be who you are, but don't. Because if you do, you're going to make people around you uncomfortable. And even if they never said that, I could see it in their eyes. I could see it in their reactions. And it was so scary to me that it was easier just to not show up. And yet, that waged a war inside of me that manifested, quite honestly, in suicidal tendencies throughout a good chunk of my teenage and young adult years. I didn't want to feel like that. I wanted to feel safe and loved and accepted. I put on masks. I started making up excuses for not showing up fully. because even though I wanted to shine my light brightly, I wanted to be safe more. I made a mental note that if I dimmed my light, I would be okay. And so my mind made markers on an internal GPS map that said, if you do this, you're okay. If you do this, you're not okay. And it would give me the warnings, just like your GPS will tell you the traffic and how to avoid the traffic. My mind would tell me how to avoid the pain. Thoughts and beliefs began to form because of those markers. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. It's not okay to be me. It changes how we show up in the world when we have those markers guiding us. As a yoga teacher, I've come to know that there are 5 core excuses or kanchukas that we all engage in some capacity within our own illusion. The first one is niyati, or the limitation of place. Next one is kala, or limitation of time. Raja is attachment. Vidya is limitation of knowledge. And kala is limitation of action. These core excuses diminish growth and can even keep you stuck. From that perspective, the excuses seem really bad. They seem like they're horrible things that we really want to avoid. And in that place of a shadow, when we are living in the illusion, when we are engaging in these excuses, they look like this. Every time you feel yourself expand momentarily, you're starting to step up into your greatness, and somebody says, do this, and you say, yeah, but how? And you contract back into not knowing enough. Or maybe using an excuse for not being able to do what aligns with your true nature, whether that's practicing unconditional love, self-care, or speaking your truth. Shows up in all the ways you think you don't know enough. When you say, I need to get another certification or learn more before I start teaching or working in my field. It shows up as the sense of scarcity, of wanting or needing more to be happy, safe, accepted, and loved. Shows up when you're using time as an excuse. So either not having enough time or putting stuff off until later, or living in the past or future rather than the present. Shows up in body limitations, weight, pain, disease, judgment. Looking outside of yourself for safety, acceptance, and love. We call this comparisonitis. I know I have used every single one of those limitations with an infinite number of variations throughout my life. I always thought it was fear of abandonment, failure, or success that kept me stuck. But it wasn't. And then I thought it was unworthiness. I'm not good enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not worthy enough. And now I know it's just the core limitations that create an illusion from which we have the choice to play in. The kanchukas provide a contrast for us to experience something different than our truest nature. Kanchukas create limitations that are a part of divine play. It's the way that we as infinite divine beings come into a finite body, play in these excuses in order to experience the contraction and then expand back out into our greatness. Opportunities abound to experience limitations through the kanchukas. For example, you want to lose weight, but you continue to make poor food choices and avoid exercise. You may believe you don't have the willpower or the knowledge to make better choices. You don't have the time to do the workout or prepare healthier meals. Or you won't be happy until you drop the weight. You'll get unwanted attention if you lose the weight. It's hard. All of those can be paralyzing and hope depriving. Awareness of the excuse that you are engaging in allows exploration of the story being told. Is it fact or fiction? What is the purpose or the payoff of the excuse? Even if it's a shadowy payoff, there's always a reason. What story do you want to be living? What immediate action can you take that is aligned with what is desired? For the weight loss goal, if time is an excuse, how do you spend your time? Where is time wasted that could be replaced with healthier activities? What is the real purpose of avoiding healthy living? Perhaps it's a deeper issue that needs to be addressed, such as a relationship or an old wound in need of healing. When you explore what you really want, the weight loss may be secondary to happiness. In order to be happy, some life changes may be necessary that require some outside help. That's significantly different than believing you don't have the willpower or the knowledge to make the change. Befriending the Kinchukas is enlightening and very powerful. They help us springboard into alignment with our highest self and allow a more expansive, richer life. You don't have to remove the limitations because those provide brilliant contrast to your true nature, but you cease to be limited by them and become the divine play when you're willing to explore them and transcend them. We all have many layers that are built upon these illusions and these limitations. And I think that it would be overwhelming to heal everything at once. So we always have opportunities to transform our limitations back into love and light in small doses. We deal with it in this moment, in this present moment, exploring it, and then we stay with that and we build the muscle to trust ourselves. We build the muscle to be able to show up fully without the excuses, and then we can go into another layer and heal that one as well. When we do this, when we look honestly at our perceptions and choose to love even the most hidden parts of ourselves, we have an opportunity to springboard beyond the illusion into a sense of profound peace. These layers come up for healing in waves. So know that just because you get a good grip on it now doesn't mean that there's another layer waiting for healing. We just have to be willing to show up, be present, and release. And that's always a choice. For me, recognizing the limitations I've created and exploring those shadows within the limitations with light and love has afforded me a great deal of freedom from the burden of suffering. This perception also allows me not to take things quite as seriously because I recognize that we all have illusions in some degree or another. My life has been enriched with more compassion and love than I could ever have imagined even 5 years ago because of the work that I've done with my illusions in just the past year. Perhaps this is what we call grace. The next time that you catch yourself engaging in your own illusion, your own excuses, pause and ask yourself, what is this? Is what you're feeling real? If you think it is, challenge it further. And if it's not real, if it's just an excuse, then pivot. This is your power of expanding outward from your contracted illusion. You do have the power and you are worthy of transcending your illusion. You simply have to choose. Stay in the limitation or expand out. I say expand out.